So over the past few years on the internet, we've seen multiple content creators blow up overnight, and sadly their careers didn't last too long, simply because they didn't really know how to manage the fame, or they couldn't stay entertaining long enough for their viewers. And in most cases, that's the sad reality of what happens when you blow up overnight. But for one specific creator, he managed to defy all of these odds and turned an overnight success story into a thriving career. But who exactly is this content creator, and what did he do to even blow up overnight in the first place? Well, that's probably what you're here to figure out. So with that being said, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, join the tribe with the biggest trapper, and while you're at it, don't forget to click that very first link down below in my description to join my Discord server and become an official member of the community. Now with that being said, let's get into when blowing up overnight actually works out. Okay, so to start, the content creator that we're going to be talking about in today's video goes by the name of CaseOh, whose real name is Case Baker. CaseOh started his life off in Dallas County, Arkansas, and he spent most of his adult life doing hard labor such as cutting grass or even working alongside his dad as a maintenance man in a retirement home. And with how hard these jobs were, it led to CaseOh wanting to do something different with his life. So in September of 2022, this is where he decided that he would make a change. And CaseOh managed to accumulate over 15,000 TikTok followers literally overnight, and this is when he knew that he actually had to start streaming. So the next day, CaseOh would spark his very first stream, and unlike most people who start their career off by streaming to literally no one, CaseOh started his career off by streaming to an audience of about 70 people, and some of these viewers would even be extremely motivational to CaseOh as well.
Bro, I made my TikTok the night before last out of nowhere, and I just started uploading. Bro, I'm streaming off a jetpack, like a Verizon hotspot. Like my internet is too slow, but you never know if it gets big enough and y'all start coming through for me. I'll figure out some new internet stuff.
But this overnight success wouldn't end anywhere near here for CaseOh at all, because after having an average of 70 viewers during his first ever stream, the next day he would average even more viewers and even gained over 1,000 followers in the very first night. And by the time September 18th came around, officially 1 week after CaseOh had started his streaming career, he had a total of over 8,000 followers on Twitch and even averaged over 470 viewers per stream. Think about that feeling of having almost instant success early on into your content creation career. I mean, most streamers grind every day for years and they can't even get 10 average viewers. Meanwhile, CaseOh managed to gain almost 10,000 followers in just his very first week. And all of the success that CaseOh seen very early on into his career all came from a popular game called NBA 2K, which I've covered numerous times on my channel. So if you've been here for a while, you know that this game doesn't last long at all. 2K is the type of game that's very popular when it first releases, and within like the first 2 to 3 months, the game is completely dead and no one watches it anymore. And CaseOh will have to learn this very quickly on into his career, because when he first started blowing up and playing 2K, he was averaging anywhere from 800 to 900 average viewers every day. And over time, that number started declining more and more, up until the point where he only averaged about 100 to 200 viewers per night.
And I also knew that, 2K is good. It'll be popping for a couple months and then it'll die down. I was like, I gotta do something different or it's gonna go under. You know what I mean?
So it was clear that CaseOh was gonna have to quickly find something to do other than play 2K on stream. And luckily for CaseOh, he did find something else to do, and this will probably be one of the best decisions he's made in his life. And while CaseOh will make one of the best decisions of his life, I also just made one of the best decisions of my life as well by using today's sponsor, Aura. We all know that gaming online could be rather dangerous nowadays with all of the hackers and scammers going around. So it's completely up to us now to protect ourselves, which is why I like to use Aura. Aura keeps me safe online not only when I'm gaming, but also when I'm surfing the web doing all of my research for these videos. Sometimes I might have to go to some sketchy websites to find the information that I'm looking for, and I feel a lot safer knowing that Aura will continuously monitor the dark web and alert me if they find any of my information exposed. In addition, the Aura app also has a VPN with over 100 plus virtual locations, making me feel confident that any hacker or scammer will have a hard time locating my real address. So yeah, Aura definitely helps me keep all of my personal information and accounts safe without me having to do all of the hard work. Plus, they even give me up to $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario actually happen. Does your current VPN do all of this too? If you're anything like me and you're always gaming or browsing the internet and you want to feel as protected as I do, you can use my personal link, which is the first first link down below in my description at aura.com/abando for 14 days free, and that will be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal information has been exposed. But anyways, CaseOh decided to make this change around the same time that the new Harry Potter game was releasing, and CaseOh was smart enough to know that it would be very beneficial to a lower streamer to play a new game as soon as it releases in order to get views from a whole new community who's interested in that game. So when this game originally dropped, CaseOh streamed it a little bit and he ended up posting a TikTok dedicated to this new game, and that TikTok alone ended up being one of CaseOh's biggest TikToks to this day. So when he saw the numbers that he was doing solely for playing Hogwarts, this is where he decided to finally retire from 2K, never to really play it on stream ever again, and this will end up being the turning point in CaseOh's career. As I said, when he was playing 2K every day just a few weeks prior, he was seeing his career on the literal decline, but once he took the risk of trying out something new, it ended up working out tremendously, and his viewership would quickly shoot back up, even getting CaseOh to the point where he was averaging over 1,000 viewers for the first time ever in his career. And this is what really led to CaseOh becoming the variety gamer and streamer that he is now. He continued to stream every single day, and obviously no one wants to watch anybody do the same thing literally every day, so he started mixing more and more games into his content, and even started adding some just chatting streams into his rotation as well, which would end up taking his career to an entirely different level. He was already basically blowing up on TikTok, doing hundreds of thousands of views every time he posted at this point. So when he started doing these just chatting streams, it ended up working out very well for his career because it allowed his current fan base and viewership to know more about who CaseOh was as a person, and this would only help him become more and more likable. And he even got to the point where he was doing a lot of content that involved his viewers, such as like rating his viewers' refrigerators and things like that, and this would only lead to CaseOh going more viral because this is where like all of the fat jokes and things like that and his TikTok comments really started, and then that even started to carry over to his PlayStation messages while he was gaming. Now almost every popular streamer has some form of like running inside joke with their chat. For example, I was a big Bruce Drop 'em All fan, and the running joke with him for years was like about his nose. So for a streamer like CaseOh, the running joke quickly became about his weight, but he grew to a point where it was like kind of no escaping these comments at all. It was all over his TikTok comments, and as I said, even in his PlayStation messages while gaming, and this would lead to him like raging and things like that at the comments, which was always pretty funny for the viewer to watch. But for some of his newer viewers, they didn't really like this and thought it was like a form of body shaming or bullying CaseOh, but deep down even CaseOh himself knew that it was all jokes, and he played into it a lot as well, which will ultimately all lead to him continuing to grow and bond with his chat to the point where he became basically an overnight star. And this was a streamer that I personally was just on Twitch one night, came across and seen that he had 60,000 viewers live, and I've never heard of or seen him at that point in my life. I don't know if that's because like I'm not an avid TikTok user or anything like that, but at the time, like a year ago when I first discovered him, I genuinely had no idea who he was, and this was the reality for most people as well. For people who didn't see CaseOh on their For You page where he was posting 2K or playing Hogwarts, it literally seemed like CaseOh was just some form of industry plant, and people like me who weren't familiar with him at this time would start comparing him to another popular streamer who went by the name of Los Polos, because they did have a similar style of content. Like obviously they both started their careers off by playing 2K, and then the running jokes with both of their chats were obviously like fat jokes and things like that. So of course to people from the outside looking in, it was very comparable to the career of Los Polos. And I even recall Your Rage putting out a tweet about this like a year or so ago when CaseOh first started really blowing up, and Rage would even tweet out and say, bruh, is Los Polos the blueprint for fat white people? And many people at the time did agree with this, and after a while of fans continuing to make these comparisons and things like that, even Los Polos himself would start to have a very one-sided beef with CaseOh, because it got to the point where even he felt like CaseOh was copying his career.
There's a dude running around the internet right now, okay, who for months or years, I don't know when it started, bro, okay, he came from the 2K community watching my stream. We're talking about someone who words that come out of my mouth are coming out of another man's mouth, bro, in the same cadences and mannerisms or whatever. It's weird as I literally can't, bro. I literally can't. I've been coming on stream for 8-9 years, being myself, not copying anyone, not pretending to be someone else, and a dude copied my stream, the way I act, the way I talk, whatever, okay? That was was all straight ripped, copied, not his personality. That's it.
Now, as I said, there was a few similarities between the two creators when CaseOh first started his career off, but I genuinely don't believe that CaseOh started his career off by saying, oh, I'ma just copy exactly what Los Polos did. Maybe he was a Los Polos viewer and gained some inspiration from him and things like that, but I honestly don't think his intention was to ever copy him. And CaseOh never even responded to any of these claims or rants made by Los Polos at all. In fact, he's done a pretty good job of staying out of beef and drama and things like that throughout the entire course of his career, which is another reason why I feel like he's managed to be successful for so long despite blowing up overnight. Because think about how many content creators or influencers we've seen blow up rather quickly. I mean, look at the Haktua girl, for example. She literally blew up overnight, becoming one of the most popular people on the internet in the span of a few days. And then a few months later, she does this big crypto scam, and now her career is basically over. But I do think the ability to just avoid drama and things like that really played a big part in CaseOh's career. I feel like when creators start like branching out and getting into like a lot of drama and things like that, that's when a lot of things starts going downhill for their career. And CaseOh hasn't gotten to that point yet because he genuinely doesn't bother anyone. It's normally just him and his chat vibing. The only creator that I could genuinely say I remember CaseOh having a collab with was Jinxie. It seemed like the two of them became pretty good friends very quickly because they were blowing up at like the same amount of time on the internet, and they were both gamers who really gained a lot of popularity from TikTok and things like that. So obviously there was some form of like mutual connection there. But we're now about 2 years into CaseOh's career, and he's still averaging numbers out of this world. And unlike many streamers, he doesn't have to do IRL streams or go outside and harass people and things like that to get these views. He can simply just sit in his room and play any random game possible and still manage to have like 40 to 60,000 live viewers. It's honestly insane. I've never really seen anyone do anything like it before. And even CaseOh would agree that CaseOh doesn't really get the credit that he deserves.
I love CaseOh, bro. CaseOh is so amazing that he's in his own lane, and I feel like people tend to forget about him. Like, dead ass. Like, he's so much in his own lane that people some way, somehow forget to, like, speak more of CaseOh. I think we need to speak more of CaseOh, you feel me?
But as of recently, more and more people are starting to become familiar with CaseOh, and now they're finally giving him the respect and credit that he actually does deserve. Because at the recent 2024 Game Award, he ended up winning Content Creator of the Year there, and at QT Cinderella's Popular Streamer Awards, he ended up winning Gamer of the Year. Two very popular awards to highlight how far he's come within his streaming career and within the gaming community. And these weren't just some petty awards where he was nominated against like lower tier creators and things like that. This Gamer of the Year award, he ended up beating streamers like Clicks, CaseOh, and even his good friend Jinxie as well. And even since then, CaseOh is still doing wonderful in his career, which is very rare because, as I say, you don't see a creator blow up like this overnight and manage to maintain these levels of success for as long as he has, even though it's still very early into his career as well. I mean, so far in 2025 alone, he's gained over 300,000 followers, along with having an average of over 57,000 viewers. And mind you, this is all through the use of just sitting in his room playing random games. I keep reiterating that fact because it's really a dying art that we see on Twitch now. It's very rare that you see a streamer reach these heights without doing these big collabs, whether that's with big celebrities or other big content creators, and more importantly, without the use of doing any form of an IRL stream. That's what I think makes CaseOh so unique, because when you watch him, you really get that old vibe of what streaming used to be, where a creator is just sitting there vibing with their chat, making jokes, laughing, having a good time for a few hours. It really just brings back a nostalgic Twitch feeling, which is why I personally think he's been around for as long as he has. But it's going to be very interesting to see what he continues to do throughout the course of his career. I feel like at this point, whatever he decides to do is probably going to work out well for him because of the strong fan base he's built. But that's just my personal opinion. As you guys know, the only opinion that I really care about is you guys' opinion. So with that being said, be sure to comment down below and let me know, what do you think about this entire situation? Were you familiar with CaseOh when he started playing 2K, or did you become familiar with him more later on into his career? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments, how did you even come across CaseOh in the first place? And while you're at it, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join me on my journey to 15K. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you didn't enjoy this video, be sure to give me a thumbs down. You guys know that any feedback is good feedback to me. And as always, I appreciate all of the love and support. And I'll catch you boys and girls in the next banger, man.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.